I got fired for not being a team player. 6 weeks later, my old company called me begging for help at triple my old rate. I worked as the sole IT/systems person for a mid-sized logistics company for 4 years. I built almost everything from scratch. The inventory tracking system, the automated invoicing, the shipping API integrations, all of it undocumented, because every time I asked for time to write proper documentation, my manager said it wasn't a priority right now. 6 weeks ago, a new director came in, decided I was resistant to change because I pushed back on a vendor migration I knew would break 3 of our integrations, and fired me on the spot. No warning, no PIP, just "this isn't working out," and a box for my stuff. HR made me sign an exit form same day acknowledging I had no outstanding company property or credentials, which I found funny because nobody ever asked me to hand over admin access to anything. They just assumed IT handles IT. I didn't touch a single thing. I didn't need to. I just went home and let 4 years of undocumented systems exist exactly as undocumented as they'd always been. The vendor migration happened 2 weeks later. It broke exactly what I said it would. Their new hire, a junior guy with zero context, couldn't find login credentials for half our systems because they lived in my head and a personal password manager, not company records. Shipping went down for 3 days, invoicing went down for 5. I got a call from the same director who fired me, suddenly very friendly, asking if I'd be willing to come back in a consulting capacity to help stabilize things. I quoted $185 per hour, more than triple my old salary rate, plus a signed contract before I'd say another word. They paid it. I spent 11 hours over 2 days handing over exactly what was contractually required, no more, wrote the driest possible documentation, and left. I heard through a former coworker that the director got quietly managed out herself about a month later. My neighbor called animal control on my dog for barking twice. I had 8 months of footage of his actual noise violations. I have a small dog, barks occasionally when the mail carrier comes, or another dog walks by, completely normal, maybe a minute or two, a handful of times a week. My next door neighbor moved in about a year ago and made it immediately clear he found this intolerable, leaving notes on my door, yelling over the fence once, and eventually calling animal control directly, claiming constant, excessive barking without ever speaking to me first. An officer came out, listened to my explanation, checked my dog's very unremarkable bark history with the neighbors on the other side who'd lived beside me for years, and closed the complaint as unfounded. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. He called again a month later, then again. Each time an officer had to come out, each time it got closed as unfounded, each time it ate an hour of my day dealing with it. What he didn't know is that after his second complaint, I'd installed a doorbell camera with a wide-angle lens that happened to also catch a clear view of his driveway and side yard, purely because of the angle needed to see my own front walk. I hadn't set it up to catch him doing anything. I just happened to notice, going back through footage to timestamp my dog's actual barking for my own defense, that his own dog barked considerably more than mine, at odder hours, often triggered by nothing at all, sometimes for 20 or 30 minutes straight late at night. 8 months of footage later, after his fourth unfounded complaint against me, I submitted my own noise complaint, time-stamped, dated, cross-referenced against his complaints about me on the same days, to show his dog was audible in the background of his own footage of mine. Animal control opened a case on his dog instead. He got a formal warning. He stopped calling about mine almost immediately, which confirmed something I'd suspected the whole time. It was never really about noise.
What's something you did as a kid that your parents never found out about? When I was around 11, my parents went through a rough stretch where they'd fight after we were supposedly asleep. Always the same pattern: my dad's voice getting louder, my mom going quiet, then a door somewhere in the house closing hard. My little sister was 7 and would come get me every time it happened, scared, unable to sleep, and I didn't know what else to do, so I started telling her it was just the house settling, and that the sounds were pipes. I built out this whole elaborate mythology over about a year. I told her our house was old and old houses talked at night, that the thumping was the water heater, that raised voices downstairs were just the TV bleeding through the floor because the walls were thin. I'd walk her back to her room, tuck her in, and sit with her until she fell asleep, every single time, for almost a year, becoming genuinely skilled at explaining away things I didn't fully understand myself. My parents never knew any of this was happening. They assumed we slept through it, the way kids supposedly do. My sister is 24 now, and a few years ago, out of nowhere, she brought up the pipe noises from our old house, laughing about how weird old houses are. I just laughed along and never told her what she was actually hearing, because by then it felt like taking something away from her that I'd spent a whole year building, carefully enough that it actually worked. Our parents are still married, still together, still don't know either of us ever heard anything at all. What's a lie you told once that spiraled way out of control? In my first year at a new job, someone in a meeting asked if I spoke Spanish because a client call needed a translator, and I panicked and said, a little conversationally, mostly just to not seem unhelpful in front of a room full of people I was still trying to impress. I do not speak Spanish. I took 2 years of it in high school and remember approximately nothing. They looped me into the client call just to help out where you can, and I spent that entire meeting nodding along, catching maybe 1 word in 10, and improvising confident-sounding English summaries based on tone of voice and context clues alone. Somehow it went fine, mostly because the actual bilingual person on the call carried the whole thing, and I just added filler at the right moments. That single meeting got me labeled the Spanish speaker on the team. For the next 2 years, every single client call involving Spanish got routed through me first. I started secretly taking real lessons on my own time, telling nobody, just to try to actually catch up to the reputation I'd accidentally built for myself in one panicked sentence. I got genuinely conversational within a year purely out of fear of being exposed. I now actually do speak Spanish, reasonably well, entirely because I was too embarrassed to admit the truth early enough, and it became easier to become the lie than confess it. My manager still occasionally tells new hires the story of how I picked up Spanish so fast, completely unaware that the real story is, I lied under pressure and then spent 2 years quietly panic learning a language to avoid being caught.